Hello guys, it's been a while and to fill up the gap for my absence, I decided to, I had a request from my patron. One girl asked me to go further with the dynamic mesh painting feature, and I decided to make sort of inspection feature so you can um rotate and look around your model, and also you can paint on it. Just before you start, I highly recommend you to watch my latest tutorial on the dynamic mesh painting, this one, and I'm gonna leave the link under this video so you can check it. And I made it step by step so you can just copy paste everything that you see there, and even if it's 1 year old, it's still relevant even for 5.7. I've seen recently a few games that uses this feature as their main feature for the game. Basically, it can be the mini game for your main game. Uh, Here we can see Undusted, where you can inspect your 3D model, rotate and scale, clean from dust or mud. The same for the Express Car Wash Simulator, or basically there is a niche of games about cleaning. So yeah, the feature that I made, if you want to have similar, this tutorial is for you. And of course, guys, if you want to support me monetarily and you don't want to spare your time on making this feature from the scratch, you can simply follow up my Patreon and buy subscription. I would be grateful. So we're gonna start with the inputs first, because we need the weight to control our model. For this we need to have, in my case, 3 input actions: look, allow look, and zoom. So the first one is look, and it should be the axis 2D. Allow look, simple boolean, and zoom axis 1 dimension. To make one, you just need to press right mouse button in your content browser, go to the input and select input action. Once you've done this, you need to have the input mapping context, the thing that will store all of your actions. So the same way, right mouse button and create this one. Now we need to fill it. So we press on the mapping and we need to create 3 events here: look event, allow look, and zoom. For the look event, we need to look for the mouse to the axis, right? For the allow look, we're gonna use the right mouse button, and the flow is the following: if the right mouse button is being held or selected or pressed, then we can moving our mouse change the model relative rotation. And for our zoom is the simple mouse wheel axis. How to make things to work as the combo, right? With the look and allow look. We need to make the new trigger inside triggers and select chord action. Once we select chord action, right, we can expand it, and for the chord action we need to select our allow look input action, and that's it. So that means if we are gonna trigger the look event without pressing the right mouse button, it simply won't work. So next, if you take a look at my bottom left corner here, where the project hierarchy is located, you may see that the feature I built up upon a template, the first person shooter. So that's why some things right up here are just as is. So I have the weapon component, kind of actor derived from the skeletal mesh component, with the assigned skeletal mesh asset, the first person shooter gun, this guy. By default, it comes up kind of different. Basically, the root bone is rotated on 90 degrees on the z-axis here. So I change it, and I also reposition the muzzle. It's the socket. It's the socket assigned to the root bone, but in the default variant, it was assigned to the grip bone right up here. So I made change here just to have the precisely perfect place from which I'm gonna line trace to start my painting. It can be your spray asset or your brush, whatever you like. So what I did next is I have my character or my pawn, or it can simply be just an actor with the spring arm, the camera, and here I added the weapon component, right? This guy. So I'm gonna change its location and rotation based on my screen, on my mouse screen position. So you have the following behavior, just like this. The first thing to implement, we're gonna make it zoom. So here we need to call our input action zoom. On started, it means that it's triggered only once. We need to have a sequence. Based on the action value, rather it's higher than 0. Here on the left you may see I have several variables. For now we need zoom step, zoom multiplier, and zoom bounds. So if the value is higher than 0, we're going to increase our multiplier, and vice versa. Next, we need to clamp our multiplier and set the new multiplier value. So it means that we cannot extend the values, and in my case, zoom bound is from 1 to 5, and my zoom step is 100 units. So I can scroll from 100 units up to 500 units. Next, I have the custom event that I'm gonna call here on the tick. And we have nicely done interpolation. So we need to get the reference for our spring arm and get the target arm length. It's going to be our current value. For our target value, we need to multiply step on the multiplier. We want to add the roll delta seconds at the delta time and adjust the interpolation speed. Once done, we should connect to the spring arm set target arm length. Interpolation speed works the following way. The higher value, the more instant the effect gonna be. The lower value, the more smooth effect you will have. Next, I forgot to tell you, but you probably know it already. So in my case, I have it inside the first person player controller. On the begin play, I need to get the enhanced input local player subsystem, and if it's valid, I'm gonna add mapping context. So here we're gonna provide the input mapping context that we created earlier with all our inputs, just like this. Once it's done, when the player controller is possessed, is created, it's gonna possess to the pawn, our first person character, which allows our input actions to be called. Next, we need to actually make changes for our rotation of our model. For this, we're gonna transfer or convert the mouse position in our screen to the world space. For this, we need to have the player controller and get mouse position scaled by DPI. Next, we're gonna make it vector 2 and multiply it by the viewport scale. Otherwise, if we don't do this, if we change the resolution or the size of our screen, you may see that the position of our weapon component will be different. So let me demonstrate. If I launch right now, you may see that my model is following up my arrow, right? The same way if I change the size of my window. But if I omit this step and simply go with one by one or just the raw input like this, you may see that, yep, like this, the positioning isn't correct. So that's the most important part for positioning in this tutorial. So next we need to call the project screen to world. The world position gonna be to our start of the line trace by channel. Then we have direction multiplied by 1000 units. We add it together and set to the end of our line trace. The line trace is gonna be the visibility channel. Next we store our hit location and our normal. And we need to set world location and rotation for our weapon component. We can go with the relative location. I decided to go with the world. So we have the vector interpolation and the rotator interpolation. So from the weapon component we get the world location and the world rotation. For the target, for our location, we have our location right up here. We also multiply the normal by 45. It's the distance from the surface that we're gonna skip, so our model won't be intersection or colliding with the model. We add it together, it's gonna be our target. So delta time is our world delta seconds and interpolation speed 4. So if I change it, let's say to 0 or just like 1, in the launch you may see that, yep, it's not working correctly. If I set to something high, let's say 100 units, you may see how far from the model our weapon component is. So just play around with the value and find the one that you like, just like I have. For the rotation, we need to get the world location, and here we use the find look at rotation node. The start is our weapon component, the target our hit location with our model that we're gonna inspect, and the same setup right up here. Once it's done, our inspection here is actually completed. And we need to make just a few more adjustments. So now our inspection model. It can be done several ways. I did it as simple as is. So it's a simple actor, this guy, which I also use for painting. So here on the left you may see I have the array of render targets from my previous tutorial and a simple static mesh component with several material IDs. By default you may see that it doesn't have anything. So what we're gonna do here, on the begin play, from player controller we need to enable input for this actor, because we need the way to control its rotation. Here we need to call the input action look, and on a trigger we're gonna do the following. We have our action values x and y, because if you remember it's the action axis 2D. So we multiply x by -1, and we have literal float, so it's the same value for both our inputs. The x-axis should be inverted. And we combine the rotator, so basically we change the pitch and yaw rotation based on our mouse position, and with the relative rotation of our static mesh, this guy. We store it to the desired rotation, or we can just simply provide it like this, and we call set relative rotation for our mesh. So now if we launch the game and we press the right mouse button and we move it to the left or to the right, to the bottom or to the top, or just like this, you may see we can inspect our model. Remember that in our character we have the zooming out action also, so we scroll our mouse just like this, and we have the zooming out state. The last part here is for those who want to have the precisely correct painting position, for those who followed my previous tutorial on the dynamic mesh paint. So if I press the left mouse button, you may see that the paint actually happens, just like this. This. So for this, we need to go to the blueprint function library, where I have the paint on mesh function, and do the following. From the player pawn, we need to extract the component by class. In my case, it's the weapon component, which stores our skeletal mesh. Our skeletal mesh, as I told you before, we have the socket with the name of muzzle. So for this, we get the socket location with the name and the socket rotation. Next, simply store the location at the start location. We get the forward vector multiplied by 1000 units, add everything with the start location, and provide it as the end location for our line trace. And that's it. With this done, we're gonna start painting from our socket position, this guy, and the rotation and everything will be correct. So guys, that's it, and I hope this one was useful for you. At the moment I'm full ahead with the pre-production of my game, which I'm gonna announce at the end of summer, and it's done completely in the C++. So that's the project. That's what I'm doing right now. Inventory, equipment stuff. So yeah, a lot of have been done already. So nevertheless, thank you for your time. In case if you want to support monetarily, of course you can go to my Patreon, and yep, see you soon guys.